Quite the cluster we got going on there, but I promise it's pretty efficient. I'll break it down here in a minute. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Tim, or Mr. Yepwelp if you're new around here. Suckered another friend into coming with me. This is Mr. Scott Caro. He has a little gaming channel called Skeets Gaming. You can check him out on Twitch and on YouTube, but for today he's gonna be helping me wash some rocks.
Guaranteed.
Get the goods. So generous that nobody's touched my wonderful little honey hole we got going on here. Last time we were out here, we had a real nice day digging in our honey hole from our prospecting series where we found 30 flakes in the one test pan, a couple shovels. As you can see, my trench is still here. Mostly because I'm a bad person and didn't fill it up. But to be fair, I knew I would be out here again in the next few weeks. So once I get done playing around, I plan on filling in my hole so that way we can continue to prospect out here. And I don't want anybody breaking an ankle walking out here and fall into a 4-foot hole. I'm gonna get my contraption, get everything broke out, set up, and we will show you the new stuff we have for the setup. I am very excited. I hope we can tune in that auto-classifier, version 2.0 as I'd like to call it. You will check out the new upgrades we added to it, and hopefully it'll run a little bit more efficiently, and that way we can process more materials as I intended now that we have the gold cube. Last time we were out here, we ran into some issues with the 1/8 inch classifications. It's such a small classification that a lot of the heavier stay up on top, and it was taking away a lot of my vibration. And on top of that, we were going through a lot of water to try to get the concentrates to rinse down properly. And we have a little recircuitorial, can't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about, system. And that way we don't have to go back to the river. As you can see, it's about 50 feet away from where we want to dig. So we don't have to go back and forth and keep getting water. So enough yip yapping, let me get this set up and we'll get on the goods. Voila! All that madness unfolded. And you can see we got our nice auto-classifier stand with our I can't say that word.
Recirculatory.
Say it for me.
Recirculatory.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's what those two tubs are together. It's a real fancy word, and apparently I'm not fancy because I can't say it. But we're gonna make it so we don't have to manually move the water. And if you notice, we got some new standoffs here. Gonna try that out. And if you notice, we got a bolt in our single fan blade left. So hopefully that will add just enough counterweight, additional counterweight, to give us that little bit additional vibration we're looking for to further classify the materials down to that 1/8 inch size. Really want that material moving, and you really want it saturated the whole time. And that way gravity, water, everything else will work in your favor instead of working against you. So if you noticed also, we got a nice little tube here added on, and this puppy is going to go down to a pump that I will have down here, and I will be able to regulate it with that valve right there. And that way we will be able to constantly rinse our material that we're trying to move, and I won't have to manually pick up the water, manually pick up the buckets. The water will be right there, dump it right in there, and that's one less thing we got to worry about. Instead of having to move the water from there all the way over to here, and those are about 20-gallon tubs, so you do the math on that. I don't feel like moving 60 gallons of water, just do a little gold prospecting. So we got a garden hose here, and I have that adapted down there to my gold cube pump, the 1100 gallon per hour gold cube pump. And we're gonna turn that puppy on, get our buckets filled, eliminate having to move water, and hopefully eliminate having to remove water once we use it to rinse down our materials. So we will get this pump fired up. You know, one great part about dragging a friend out to the river with you, besides they get stuck doing half the work, is they're actually the logical ones and tell me to put on my brand new rubber boots instead of just charging into the river with tennis shoes on, and then I gotta play around in soppy, soaky shoes all day. So we have to thank Scott, the logical one, for making me take a whole 3 seconds to swap to my boots. So thank you, Scott.
Guaranteed.
So for the recirculatorial system, I still can't say that word, so you guys are just gonna have to laugh at me through this whole video. I decided to use me a $3 drywall mud pan. You can see right there, that's a 14-inch drywall mud pan. Home Depot brand. Cheaper the better, baby, cheaper the better. And I just drilled some holes down in there, and that allows the water to come out of here and filter back down into that 5-gallon bucket, since the original Gold Cube stand is a little too wide to fit in the 5-gallon bucket, and that'll eliminate me getting a lot of junk sucking up in my pump, which is hiding down in that water. So we got our first 2 buckets of cons ran through here, and as special request from some of my viewers, last time my battery died, so I wanted to make sure I still have a whole nother battery and my power bank. Thanks to you guys for reminding me to bring it. But I wanted to make sure, I wanted to show you some of the sluice mats down here that we have going through the Gold Cube now that we got some stuff ran in there. We'll pop off the slick tray here. It's gonna be hard to see because we still have some air bubbles coming through that are trying to pop as the rest of the water's coming out. It looks like we have a tiny little piece right there if the GoPro will pick her up. We got another little guy right there if the GoPro will pick it up. I do apologize, my son is hiding behind a cloud, and the sun is your best friend when it comes to pinpointing your gold in your sluice mats, as it's very shiny stuff. We got another little piece hidden down in here. Hopefully I'm not just showing you guys a bunch of blurry crap. Here's a nice little hunk right here, it looks to be, hiding in there. So not too bad for the first few buckets. Already seeing a few visible pieces, and like I said, up here you can see it real good, but down here we still have some water captured in these cells, and the air bubbles are trying to get out of them, so we can't quite see through them as well. But we definitely got a little bit of gold in there. And this time, like requested by a few of my viewers, I will keep each one of these levels individually when I rinse them out, and that way we can determine exactly how much of our gold is coming from each tier, and if I even need to bring all 4 stacks with me, or if the gold around here is shaped properly enough where it's gonna fall out early enough where it's not even gonna get down to the next few mats. The only reason why you need the taller Gold Cube stack is if you have really flat gold in your area, because that gold has a chance to, it's basically like if you were to drop a washer or a fishing weight in a swimming pool. The fishing weight, being round or oval shaped, will fall straight down to the bottom. Almost no resistance. Well, if you drop a washer in there, it's gonna go back and forth as the water resistance hits off each side of the washer. And if you have really flat gold, the gold can act the same way, and it will tumble or kind of float in the middle of the water flow, and it won't actually have a chance to drop out. So that's what those additional mats are for, is catching the really flat stuff. But like I said, we'll get the rest of the stuff ran through here, a few more buckets, and see if we can't find any more goods. Got some nice garnets up in here as well. So the automatic classifier 2.0 is doing a great job. The standoffs that I created out of the PVC fittings are definitely holding the springs, so I'm getting a lot more action. And then the water is a complete and utter game changer. As you can see from the video footage, I literally just let that thing spin around nice and slow when it's full of material, and that water dumps off right in front, and it's gonna saturate everything that goes through there. So one time around there and that entire screen is classified down nice and clean. So that's working out great. The only problem we had was the tubes I was using to recirculate the water from one tub to another didn't pan out, no pun intended. So therefore we're gonna have to come up with a new system for that, or I'm just gonna have to do a single tub system. But the only problem with that is if I run a lot of materials and I happen to let my overflow concentrate bucket in my reservoir get full, then I'll have a lot of materials that will run over into my reservoir and possibly up my pump. So definitely gonna have to address that. But as you can see, Mr. Skeets himself, back here in a winter coat because it's getting a little brisk out here. Nice December day, washing rocks, baby. What'd you think, Skates?
Pretty legit.
Pretty legit, he says. So Matt, you better be watching. Way better than us moving the water like we did last time. So you're gonna have to come back out with me because this is way easier. The water moves itself. Can't beat it, can't beat it. We're gonna keep running here, try to get down to a few more buckets so we can show you some more cube action, and hopefully we can get some nice goods in there. Alrighty, we got our 5th bucket ran, so we have the same amount of buckets as we got ran last time we were out here. But I decided to go a little bit deeper. Scott was down there manning that hole, so should be interesting. Since we just dug here previously, we'll be able to see if there's a big difference between going deeper or staying right on top. I personally think staying on top is probably gonna be better, but you really don't know until you try it. So we tried it out. But I wanted to show you guys this hole because we are gonna fill this puppy in, because if you look, it's probably about mid-high thigh on me, so it's a good 3 feet deep, and that will definitely break someone's ankle or displace a kneecap if you happen to trip over this puppy and you don't see it. Wanted to give you guys a picture of that, our little trench we got going, and the money hole, and then the trench continues a bit. And we got all our tubs. This bucket's full of cons, all the way damn near to the brim, and we got 2 more over here pretty much filled to the brim. So before that sun leaves us, we're gonna get these ran. Well, Scott's gonna run them in the cube for me. I'm gonna start getting some of this junk cleaned up. So we just barely got all these concentrates ran just in time for the sun to go down. I hope when I pop this off here, you're gonna have a chance to see what we were working with. I might end up having to clean these out in the dark, but I wanted to try to give you a view with what little bit of light we do have left, and then I'll get it all packed up. And I have 3 different buckets, and I have my little label system from my Prospector series. I'm just gonna throw the number 1 for the first tray, number 2 for the second tray, number 3 for the third tray. That way we can process out each tray individually, and we'll know exactly how much gold we're receiving on each level. But let's go ahead and take a quick peek ski. Like I said, there's not much daylight out here, so I don't know how much we're actually gonna see. And we're still waiting for the mats to dry out, because as soon as you turn off the water's gotta come run down these mats. And I don't know how well the GoPro will pick up anything, since I could barely see it with my eyes. But you can definitely see little tiny garnets little pieces of material. There's a teeny tiny piece of gold down in that pocket. I got another one down here. It is very hard to see with the minimal daylight again. And it looks like we might even have a piece of gold right there sitting on the lip. Look at that fat guy. Right on the lip. Nice. I do apologize, I can't get you a better view of that. I'm running out of natural light out here, so before I get stuck out in the middle of the cobble bar in pitch black, I'm gonna shut you down and I will get these separated out and we will get them home and I'll show you what we found. Yepwelp. So, ran out of daylight. I do apologize. I need to do a little bit better job of getting that timed out so I can get all the recording done at the river there for you. But it is the next day and we got some sunlight back. So you should be able to take a peek at how we have all these separated. I have all 3 buckets here and I have my label system as we were using in the Prospector series. So this is off the top tray. So this is definitely going to be the best tray. And you can see most of that is water, but there really isn't very much concentrates in there at all. I mean, very minimal amount. And most of it is black sands. And you can definitely see a little sneak peek without even having to get her too clean. We definitely got a few little pieces of gold down in there, but this is the top tray, so I suspect this one to do the best. Not sure how we got a few big rocks in there, but it happens. And you definitely can't make it out very well, but we got quite a few little flakes down in there. But that is about the same amount of concentrates that I have in each bucket from each tier. And like I said, I have them each labeled, so we will be able to identify which set of cons came off of which level of the gold cube. And that'll really give us an idea on which levels are contributing and which levels we're getting our most goods out of. So I will get these ran through the blue bowl, give you a few sneak peeks of that as I'm doing that, and get you some final pictures. And if we have enough, I might even attempt to weigh it up. I don't know though, I've never got that much, so we will see. So this is a 30 mesh classifier. It's upside down, but just getting out the big stuff so it'll run through the blue bowl a little bit smoother and more efficiently. And hopefully we can capture more of the good stuff. I'm gonna run down each of these buckets, all 3 of them, into a separate pan, as I have 2 more pans for our 2 more buckets. Little sneak peek of what we got in our first bucket right there. A lot of it's still probably hiding behind those black sands, but that's looking pretty nice for just the first bucket. As I assume most of the gold will be in this first bucket, but we will have to find out by running them all. But that's looking pretty nice. The goods.